Well, thanks for joining us for our Rise Minute this week. In the month of April, we're talking about courage. And this week, we're going to talk about moral courage. Moral courage is the ability to stand up for what's right, even if you're alone or you face repercussions. Now we're going to go to Chaplain Nash, who's going to share a little bit more about moral courage and how you can have moral courage throughout your life.
Hi, I'm Chaplain Nash, Wing Chaplain at the 633rd Air Base Wing here at Langley Air Force Base. Probably one of the most difficult things that I've had to do is to walk into a commander's office and tell him or her that she was wrong about something. It was difficult because that commander holds a lot of power, not only over my career, but the career of others. But there are moments of moral courage where we have to speak truth to power. We have to be willing to state what is right. We have to be willing to exercise what we call in the military one of our two yeah buts. It's when we have the opportunity to look at a commander, look at one of our supervisors and say, sir or ma'am, I understand what you're saying, but let's look at it from this perspective. One particular time when this took place was when one of my troops had a concern about how their religious accommodation was being taken care of. And the individual actually happened to be agnostic, but they felt like that they had a legitimate religious complaint because of something that was going on at a joint environment while we were deployed. We weren't able to resolve the issue because of existing rules with the sister services, but our commander was deeply concerned for this individual's well-being and their morale. And so what I was able to do was sit down with the commander and say, sir, here's the concern we have for this individual. I feel like this is a legitimate complaint. We were able to speak truth to the commanders that were there, and they disagreed with us. But this troop looked to us and said, sir, I know that we don't have the same beliefs, but I know that you cared about me. Now that may not seem like the biggest demonstration of moral courage that you can imagine, but I have seen, unfortunately, where people have not stood up for others because they were afraid of what might happen. What I can tell you is there are two things that I've been able to establish in my own life to help with moral courage. Number one, decide on your convictions. Based on your primary faith, your primary beliefs, your primary philosophies, even if it's simply the Air Force integrity, service before self, and excellence in all we do, our core values. Decide firmly what you believe. And secondly, decide how you're going to utilize those in different situations. We used to joke about the fact that the time to decide not to rob a bank is not while you're in the bank and tempted, or the time to not get involved in the back seat of a Chevy is not when you're in the back seat of a Chevy. The time to act on your moral inclinations and your moral foundations is before those situations come into effect. Now, some of those situations may seem a little bit simple. Others are a lot more complex. But I promise you, if you know your convictions and you decide on how you're going to act on them, you'll make the right decision when the time comes, and you'll be able to care for those better than anyone thought possible in times of great need.
Well, thanks for joining us this week for our Rise Minute. We hope to see you next week when we talk about spiritual courage.